So today I wanted to talk to you guys about doing a job that you enjoy. A lot of people, like I used to think that a job is a bad thing and that you have to be miserable at it and that it's just a thing to make money. And in a lot of cases it is. But if you can make money from doing something you really enjoy, then that's really awesome and that's something special. And I think it's like so cruel. There are people who are trying to take that away from me and my horse. My horse enjoys this. My horse enjoys this job, and I enjoy this job. And that's why us carriage drivers do it. And that's why we have to fight so hard to be able to make sure our job is still in existence and people understand horses so that they don't make bad decisions for them, like banning them from the cities that they built, they live in happily, that they work in happily. That, they need to work to, be cared for well. So I had worked in the office world for a while. I have had retail jobs and things, and I just kind of worked my way up and up and up. I think I've been working technically since I'm 11 years old, if I count, when I would volunteer at the horse stable that I grew up near. And I would, take care of horses and, do some of the pony rides for children and things like that. So I, and I earned some tips and all that. So I kind of just worked my whole life, worked my way up. And aside from when I worked with horses, never really enjoyed any of that. I was like, well, I just gotta make a living. And that's the crazy thing, where people think that that's a real job. That's not a real job. That's not like real work when you just like sit at a desk and whatever you're doing, if you are going to categorize things as real jobs. I feel like really working and doing physical labor, like with an animal, is more of a real job. But I think that it's like, kind of so like sad that people will spend 40 to 90 hours a week a lot of the time doing something they don't like doing just so that they can make money for the very small amount of time they have when they're not doing that job. And I get to do all of my work with my horse, which is a thing I enjoy. So while I'm doing the thing I enjoy, my hobby, I'm also making money. And that's just really awesome. And so I just feel like people should appreciate that kind of thing more. And if you're an animal person, try to get into work with animals. I mean, the pay is not as high as it was when I worked in an office, but I do make a living. I get by. And to me, I would much rather have, my free time, like doing something else. And, it's not like that's the only time that I enjoy my life. I also get to enjoy it while I am working with my horse. I think that is, an important distinction there with work and how people are just like, get a real job that they yell at carriage drivers sometimes. So stupid to me. But yeah, so I had worked in an office for a long time, and it was getting to the point where like, am I gonna quit or you're gonna fire me first? Like, we're just not enjoying things. And I started going on some interviews for some other offices, and the reason that I didn't really like working in the office was because I was doing I was salaried and I was just doing crazy overtime. I had like 3 different job titles. Like, I was trade show coordinator and personal executive assistant to the CEO and the office manager. And like, it was just crazy. It was just too much for one person. No matter how much they would have paid me, I didn't like it. I didn't want to be doing all of that. So I was going on these other interviews, and they'll ask you the questions they always ask. Like, why are you applying for this job? And why do you want this job? And, I'll say the answers that they want to hear, but I know that I don't want to be doing that job. I don't really want to be applying. I'm doing it because I need money. And I was thinking about that, and this is all coinciding with when I had some carriage drivers kind of encouraging me to, start using my carriage driving license regularly, actually, get a full-time job in this industry. And I was like, all right, I'm going to try it. I wasn't sure how it would work. It's kind of like freelance, as I've mentioned, how you have to save up during the busy time for the slow time and all of that. But I tried it. That was over 8 years ago, and I'm still doing it, and I plan on sticking with it. And I just think, yeah, like if you can find something that you like doing, you should do it and you should make money from it. And it is not a bad thing to profit from the thing that you enjoy doing, especially when the animal you're doing it with also enjoys it and also benefits from it. Because again, most of that money I make, the reason that I don't make as much as I did when I was in an office is because that goes to his care, his hay, his vet care, all of that kind of stuff. And yeah, I just kind of wanted to mention doing what you like.